I believe so.
Yeah. Joseph, what the fuck are we talking about today?
We're talking about the WrestleMania Backlash.
Oh, okay. I watched that show.
And we will also be doing Under Siege, but I think first we should do Backlash, get the numbers up, and then, the dipshits that stick with us can get that Under Siege.
I didn't watch that show.
You did not? Okay.
I made it all the way to the ELP Josh Alexander match today. I try to watch it in... Hold up, JJ. I try to watch it in, pockets when I'm not listening to interviews.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'll see, an interview pop up, and it's like, oh, I got to listen to this Beer City Bruiser interview. And so I listened to this Beer City Bruiser interview.
The thing is, you objectively don't need to listen to that Beer City Bruiser interview, but I love the passion.
I got a good story out of it Bray Wyatt gave him the Sister Abigail DDT when he played fake Bray Wyatt.
Wait, when did this happen? When did he play Bray Wyatt?
He played fake Bray Wyatt in 2019, right before he signed with ROH. And during the Roman feud, whenever that was. How far ago was that? 2018?
The Roman feud?
Yeah.
I don't remember him feuding with Roman.
Remember, he was going to capture Roman's daughter, and Roman came into the room.
Oh, bro, that's a long, long time ago, Jeremy. Jeremy, you're looking at 6 years ago. I'm not.
Oh, really? Okay, well, whatever. Yes. Regardless. Maybe the timeline screwed up. Regardless, Beer City Bruiser played the fake Bray Wyatt. And when he played the fake Bray Wyatt, he did the Sister Abigail DDT. And Bray was like, oh, that looked really good. You should use that wherever. And so I wrote that story. So I did need to listen to this Beer City Bruiser interview.
Bray Wyatt seems like a really good guy, right? A really good guy.
Was it 2015?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Whenever
and they did a cell match and stuff. It's good stuff.
Whenever he did it. That's when so I got that story out of it. So I listened to that. I listened to an Ethan Page Q&A. What else did I listen to today? I don't know, man. Bunch of shit. I always listen to too much nonsense.
All ego Ethan Page.
Yeah, that Q&A was...
Has he got
whatever.
Has he got heat with the Office yet, Jeremy?
No, not yet. I don't think so. Let's do an AC Romero interview. He has COVID, Joseph. That AC Romero does.
Yes. Is that a scoop?
I don't know. I was the first one to post it, so I'll take it as a scoop. I listened to Sean's interview with Johnny Gargano and transcribed the whole things, and Johnny Gargano and I are best friends now.
No, you convinced me on that Beer City Bruiser thing. I'm not sure about that part.
I had to listen to this one because it was Sean's interview, and so I had to transcribe it for the site so we could get the quotes out there quick enough. Mm-hmm. But Sean asked him, he goes, what do you want the headline of this article to be? Because I know you have a problem with wrestling headlines. You know this story, right, Joseph?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Gargano just laughed, and he was like, oh, the person who wrote that headline, he asked me to ask you, do you forgive him? And Gargano's like, I do. He's like, probably just caught me on a bad day and, social media stuff. And he's like, this is what I meant. He was explaining how pregnancy works. And I was like, Johnny Gargano seems like a very nice fellow.
Do you know the Fray, Jeremy?
Yes.
On wrestling Twitter. Do you know that him and Johnny have like Johnny once explained why his matches are good to the Fray? Back in the Evolve days, legitimately had a full-on forum back and forth about actually this match was good at the Fray movement. Oh man, it's amazing stuff. Good luck to Johnny.
I'm gonna post a Johnny Gargano scoop on Distraction Select.
Okay.
Our Distraction Choice. Sorry, don't get us sued. Sorry. Distraction Choice.
God damn. Sued, man. That'd be crazy. The folks in the chat, we've got nearly 30 people here who just started. That's very good. Simo is in with the usual. I just want to say that Joe fucking rules, so I appreciate that. Okay, guys, here's what the plan is here. We're going to review Backlash. fuck? Backlash.
WrestleMania
And then-
Backlash.
WrestleMania Backlash.
Get it right.
And then we're going to do Under Siege. I understand that Under Siege is a far more niche program. I do have notes on it. I do not really remember it. The first half of this will probably be more positive than the second. But we'll review both anyway. Jeremy's not seen Under Siege, but he'll pretend. And whatever else comes up over the next probably like 2 hours and some change, because you've got to watch Raw or like pretend to watch Raw or whatever. Okay? So, I'm going to tweet this link here with Backlash review, because what happens is, Jeremy,
probably tweet this as well.
Yes, so what happens is, I will talk about Harry Kane, Simo, if we get time.
We're not, what?
Yes, this is it's a big thing. Big deal. Like, it's like KD leaving Thunder big. It's like, it's the biggest shit ever. Yeah. What happens is, when a good pay-per-view occurs, and a wrestler has a good match on said pay-per-view, their stands become increasingly interested in consuming the reviews of said show. So I'm going to get this tweet out there and hope that, like, Bailey fans or who else was good? Roman Reigns stands, like, come in and are like, here we go, let's listen to Joe talk about how good our favourite wrestlers are. Because that's what I do with features, basically. Just pry on stands. I'm not calling this thing WrestleMania Backlash. It's so dumb.
It's called WrestleMania Backlash.
I'm
Joseph?
a rebel, I don't care.
God.
You know, the rules are made to be broken, brother.
You
You sounded really upset then.
Because I've been dealing with this for the past like 48 hours with the EP as well. She won't call it WrestleMania Backlash as well, and she's been giving me shit the whole time. And now I got to deal with you doing the same thing. I'm annoyed with both of you.
It's just wrong. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, Drew.
It's called WrestleMania Backlash.
I don't care. I know right and wrong. It's not that to me. In my heart, it's not that.
You can't go to the cock and search Backlash and get this show.
I don't need to. I don't have no cock.
You can't go to the cock and search anything because it fucking sucks and the search is just broken.
Okay, guys. Here we go. We'll get into this show. I kind of posted this on Patreon, but I had to watch this way on delay, so I avoided all spoilers and stuff. I'm glad I did, but when I first saw it was 3 hours, I was like, oh dear. You know, like, I was thinking this thing was going to be a light 2.5. It's only got 6 matches, but in the end, I'm glad they did what they did and they give everyone time to breathe. It obviously helped the show, so that's not a problem. You must have been excited, Jeremy, when you saw the big Batista intro, right?
I was disappointed that Batista wasn't actually there.
You got the kind of narrated by. I felt like you'd be fired up for that.
I mean, yeah, obviously.
Yes, it was cool. It was a cool intro, even if very goofy, and it got more goofy in terms of this whole endorsement and all that shit. And like, that just is what it is, you know. They made money. Good for them. Okay. I am glad though, Jeremy, to see like them actually embrace Big Dave as like a successful non-wrestling man, you know, because when he first left they were super weird about it. Remember, they would like dunk on him and stuff on TV. So good for Dave, who has won in the end once again, as one of Triple H's other peers leaves for a far more successful profession. Now we begin our night in the Raw Women's division for a triple threat match. We have Rhea, we have the Asuka, we have the Charlotte Flair. Good placement for these three, right? I mean, you can't get better off here than opening up. So that was a good start in terms of like their chance of making this thing work. Did they? Yeah, sure. It was fine. Like it's that triple threat formula done decently, not expertly, but done fine. It dawned on me at this juncture, Jeremy. This show would be the first time like I've actually listened to like these new announced teams. And let me tell you, this gentleman on Raw, whose name again escapes me.
Adnan Virk?
Like, yes. Corey and Sexton just do like play-by-play.
Yeah.
And like he just like throws sentences in every once in a while. It's bizarre. The system they've like, Corey's doing a good job of it, of making it seem organic. But he just doesn't seem to know what's going on. It's odd. And he's researched and prepared, which makes it very sad. But nonetheless, he's there. They do this deal where Joe Ben, no problem, we're just getting started with the first match. Um, they do this deal. They kind of corner Charlotte because the whole thing is like they don't really like each other, but Charlotte's a complete dick, and they bicker a little bit. And then she does some. The Queen does some like power spots with Rhea, which was neat because they are in fact both hosses and would kill Robert O'Neill. He would ask them to as well. It's all frenetic, it's wild, and the execution is like good enough. It's not nothing like blow away, but it's cool. It is the formula that Jeremy and I kind of have spoken about in the past of the rotating in and out, and the what it is. You've seen this deal, right? Charlotte is. How do I say this politely? Charlotte is a weird wrestler now, man. Like she does like these like really goofy mannerisms and stuff, and like she screams dialogue in like the most forced, just phony fashion, and she kind of just moves awkwardly. Sometimes she does like Ric Flair shit, and it's weird, but like she's in it. They all do their moves. Charlotte does the classic Queen moonsault where she like lands on her feet and just pulls people to the ground, and they
it's my favorite Charlotte move is this Red Sea splitting moonsault.
It does roll. You're right. It does roll. And then they do like a double superplex, and Rhea and Asuka do wrist control, brother. Wrist control. Shades of Okada, Tanahashi, and then they just let go of each other's wrists and start throwing punches and stuff. Charlotte does the classic heel maneuver of kicking the shit out of both baby faces as she does a double chop block, double natural selection, double pin for 2 because she is the queen. #bow down, the opportunity. And then they do this finish where like maybe I missed something because I'm a dumb shit, but it appears that like Charlotte just kicked Asuka into the finish and then just vanished. I don't know where Charlotte went on the finish. Can someone in the chat explain? Is this a common? Remember, I didn't see this for Twitter and stuff. So like, what happened? Oh, we got some.
I didn't. We'll read it off in a second. Yes, I don't know what Twitter was. I was mainly off Twitter during this entire show, but it was pointed out to me that like Charlotte just kicked Asuka and then disappeared off into the void. I explained to the EP that Alexa clearly just pulled her away into thin air. I feel like that's how you explain everything, is that Alexa just pulls uses magical powers to make them disappear or make them injured or whatever. So I think that's what happened to Charlotte.
Yes, I would agree. Sean Burby, who gifted 2 subs, or gifted a sub, let me apologise, Mr. Laugh a Lot. And he also left a comment. That's why I was confused, Jeremy, because he subscribed himself 5-month streak, Jeremy Lambert. That's unbelievable. He says, so we think Cruella de Flair is starting a slow turn to being controlled by the Fiendess tonight, right?
See?
It appears not, because it appears that Alexa is doing a segment with the new Women's Tag Champions.
They won the titles. They won the titles at WrestleMania Backlash. You know that, Joseph? We got to talk about that match. It was on this show.
No. The direction missed Charlotte falling off the apron. But why did she fall? Didn't she do a big boot?
Yeah, I have
Did
no
she just
idea.
fall down?
I have no idea. I'll go back and rewatch this. Hold on.
Okay.
This is great research.
I enjoyed the drama lay, and it was a decent match. It's not really my thing. She's meant to be off balance. Okay. It's not really my thing in terms of like the structure of it, but like it was done well, and I like all 3 obviously as performers, some more than others. I did feel for Asuka just because it's like the actual end of this match was the exact kind of meme people were making out of it, of Asuka being an afterthought. And it's like it ends with Charlotte like pointing up at Rhea while Asuka's just off elsewhere. It's just a bummer, but like, what are you gonna do? It's hard to be surprised. I will say credit to them. Triple threat was a smart choice because it protected Rhea as she's trying to find her feet and get comfortable. Like it was a good idea, and she looked good here. I would have avoided slinging her in another big singles match, and they did that. So it was a good idea. She looked good. She got the win. It was cool. Jeremy, before you pull this up, or while you're pulling this up, what was your thoughts on the match overall, my friend?
I thought it was a good match. It was nice. It was good for Rhea because those Asuka outings hadn't been good. And so the fact that she got this match under her belt, where it's like, oh yeah, Rhea is actually, I think your scouting license has been back on a probational period here. Because Rhea looked good in this match. I thought everyone looked good. I'm with you on Charlotte. Like, man, she's become almost like play wrestler. And it ain't great. Some of like her movements and mannerisms and stuff, just I don't know what she's doing.
Yeah. It's weird because she's the people that say play wrestler a lot definitely cite her as like one of the real stars, you know?
Yeah.
Which is very funny. But
all right, I'm gonna pull this up. Of course, there's no match gimmicks here. All right, there's the Rhea victory. Okay, here we go. Charlotte is climbing to the top. Oh, she's doing her moonsault. She's just landing on her feet. Codebreaker by Asuka. I'm gonna call this whole match.
My God.
Rhea.
How long did this match go?
Rhea goes after Asuka, going for the Riptide. There's not too much longer in this match, right? I didn't go back like way too far. Asuka counters, going for the Asuka lock. Rhea counters, back elbows. The exchange here. Okay, Charlotte's getting in the ring. Charlotte just kicked Rhea in the face. Asuka trying to go for the Asuka lock on Charlotte. Charlotte rolls through. She's going for the figure 4, 8, whatever. Kick by Asuka. She's really going for that Asuka lock. Rhea grabs Asuka.
Are we sure the finish is done?
I don't know. Spinning heel kick by Asuka. Okay, here we go. Okay, Charlotte goes to hit Asuka, misses the boot. Spinning back fist by Asuka. Charlotte just kicks Asuka down. And then Charlotte is just, nowhere to be found.
Charlotte did kick.
Yeah, so Charlotte was on the outside. I think the theory, and then Charlotte is just on the outside now. I think the theory is that Charlotte kicked Asuka, and then the momentum clashed, and Charlotte fell to the outside, and then could not get up in time by the time Rhea hit the riptide and got the 3 count. Because she was very tired from the match, you know, Joseph? Yes. Very long and grueling match.
I appreciate the commentary, Jeremy. Throwback, 100 bits. Thank you guys for being amazing. We are very amazing. This has made my work day better. That's cool. We have just started, so don't get too fired up here. When I get to this next match, you'll be grinning. I'm going to wheel this belt to Happen and ask for help. Friday can't go any faster. Hope you're doing well, Throwback. We appreciate the support.
Where's our title?
It's time, baby. It's time. I will now tweet this link again for any stray Twitter followers that would like to see a man weep on camera at the Dirty Dogs' latest effort here on pay-per-view. Perhaps their first ever on pay-per-view, I don't know. Hang on. Let me just tweet this out, folks. How should I phrase this? Reviewing the Dogs' masterpiece? That's what I'm going to do. Okay, folks. It's that time. Everyone's come here for this, definitely. They don't want to hear about Cesaro and Reigns. They don't want to be Under Siege. They don't want to hear about any of this stuff. They want to hear about them. Inexplicably, a month ago, Joe decided he wanted, and here he gets it. I did not watch the pre-show to this program, folks, because...
Why?
Just it's not the same sort of thing you watch on delays.
You didn't...
Like, if you're waiting live, you may as well watch it, but not live, not afterwards, you know?
You didn't see the great... Sheamus and Ricochet, they battled on the pre-show, Joseph.
I'm sure it's good.
Ricochet just wears jeans now.
Really?
Yeah.
That bad, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Throwback cheered 45. I asked JJ to help me with the belt. Oh, not JJ. He don't get anything done. Good lord. Get ordered Friday. We appreciate it, folks. So, they explain the show. The Dogs kicked the shit out of Dominic. And I was actually enraged at this point because I genuinely thought the match was going to be off the card. And I was like, literally, fuck this. I was going to text you and be like, I'm not reviewing this. So I was very angry at this point. My notes here actually says literally, fuck this show. But then Ray Jr. was still wrestling. It was a handicap match instead. And I was a little bit frustrated because I wanted a traditional tag match. But baby... just hold on, we're going home. Here we go. It's obviously great as soon as the bell rings because Ray Jr. is doing he's doing his shit, right? He's flurrying. Yeah. And like these two guys are just so good at feeding this stuff. It's actually ridiculous how good Dolph and Ray are together. They're like one of the great combinations no one talks about at all. It's so awesome. By the way, speaking of things that are awesome, How great does Bob Roode look physically? When is this guy going to age, Jeremy?
Never.
How old is Bob Roode? Seriously.
He's never gonna age.
I know that I'm very silly when it comes to these guys, but Bobby Roode is legitimately 44 years of age. You know, when Jeremy was a young man, good wrestlers would be good for like a year or two, and then they just become like drug addicts. Look at Bob, he looks great. Anyway, that's enough about drugs. At this point, Pat McAfee is desperate to put over the Dogs, and he claims that these are two of the greatest singles competitors in wrestling history. A rare miss from Pat, who is actually very good at this. Everything they're doing in here is so damn good. Like, all of just it's not even just little touches. Like, they've actually got great tag offense too, which just caught me off guard. I didn't realise they'd put effort into that, which is very neat. Michael Cole says that this is not the business of charity. What does he say? He says, the Dogs told him, this is not the business of charity, this is the business of winning, which is very much a Dolph Ziggler quote, a man who has done much winning in his career. They are just kicking the shit out of Ray. It's an extended heat segment, basically after like 2 minutes, through to about 12. And Ray is still the best babyface in wrestling, and he is just, good lord is he selling, and it's so good, and you're never quite sure if it's going to just end flat, and it's like, we're going to come back for a rematch. It's spectacular. It's just so well done. At this point, Michael Cole says, you can't beat experience. He says this to explain why Rey Mysterio Jr. is getting beaten up. Pat is befuddled by this and says, yes, Ray also has much experience. Cole never responds, coward. They're killing Ray, Jeremy. I mean, they do that thing with a super kick. When he throws him into the super kick on the floor, and they tease, they do the New Japan, 9 count or 19. You actually get in it for a second. You're like, oh, hang on. Yeah, he's in. Okay.
I have a question about this spot. Yeah. Do you think it would have worked better if Dolph super kicks him from the side instead of the front?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. But I also think it would be easier to mess it up that way. The timing would have to be sharper, I feel.
I mean, don't you trust Dolph Ziggler with the timing? Like, if there's one guy who's
trust him all my life.
Yes, exactly.
I trust him all my life. But Ray is 55 years of age, so I probably wanted to just, I don't know. So, by the way, speaking of guys that go off the ring, Braun Strowman later does a spike, just lands on his own head for no reason. So things happen on the outside of the ring, okay? And look, I get what you're saying, though. Then he does that double DDT counter, which Dolph just decides he's going to take on his own head and does like a flip, and it makes it look a little bit weird, but it resets things. And here comes Dom. Dipshit Dom is out, and he's clutching something.
Why? When is the Dominic Mysterio feature coming, Joseph?
Honestly, it will come soon. If matches like this happen often, it will come very, very soon. Okay. Where are we at here? So Dominic's here, and the Ray's hesitant, and Dolph, it's a zigzag for two. That's not a finisher anymore, I assume, right? The zigzag, I feel like every time he hits it,
Dolph has a finisher anymore.
It's very fair, okay? So they keep kicking his ass. They just kick every move you can imagine, they're just hitting him with. And then Ray does like a bulldog off the middle, and here comes Dom, who tags, and Bob Roode is like, oh, you're fucked. Like, you are absolutely doomed. You think we was kicking the shit out of your dad, man. You're way out of your depth here, and you're banged up too. So in he comes, and he does like a 15-second shine, and Roode hits him with a double A spine buster, and he's like, I'm honestly, this is not me doing a bit. I swear, folks, I'm being sincere. I'm rocking at this point. I'm making sounds like I'm in the audience of the Thunderdome, Jeremy. I'm starting to cheer. I'm starting to hoot and holler. He's actually out of control. I'm genuinely getting fired up at this point. And then, Dominic's selling, and Roode does some just tremendous trash talk where he's like, you're a disgrace. You suck. Just screaming at him. It's like Shoot McGavin shit. It's tremendous stuff. And then Dom does a super kick, to cut off Dolph's. And in anyone else's hands, this would look like the dumbest spot ever, because Dolph is going super kick. It looks phony. It does not look bad in this sense at all, because Dolph takes it so perfectly and times it. The timing is perfect throughout the whole match. So then Ray comes in for a hot tag and gets cut off again. Fires back, 619, gives Dominic the chance to hit the big splash for the pin, and in the meantime does some insane move on Dolph on the outside. Listen, I've read a couple of reviews that were down on it. I read one that was positive. I thought this was absolutely excellent. I was really glad they got time. Rey Mysterio Jr. is one of the greatest wrestlers ever. Ever. And if he's not in your ballot, you need to watch more Rey Mysterio, because he's a genius. This was a reminder of what he can still do. To me, it was a kind of like a thumbs up in a direction that I was speaking about recently of him and Roman. Like, I left this shut up, bro. Give me that match. You know, use the Usos to get to that match. That's another thing. The Dirty Dogs, all gimmicks aside, all cylinders aside, all bits, all of that stuff. This is a really good team, man. What a solid team they are. They have everything you need to be a good heel team, and like their commitment to the formula here was great because everything they did was right. And it came to me after I watched it, Jeremy. I know I'm getting carried away, but it's true. Bob Roode is an all-time tag wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Like the beer money stuff's obviously legendary, but even his team with Aries, you know, Bob O'Neill's rival was great. This team is great. This team will be as good as they allow them to be. If they get matches of this length against opponents that they don't even have to be as good as Ray, just good opponents, they're going to kill it. You know, this is a really good team and a perfect usage of two veterans that can still go. I loved this match, Jeremy, as you can tell. What did you think, my friend?
The Chad Gable stuff, it was very short, but that was a nice little team when Roode was teaming with him. Yeah, he's a fantastic tag team. I mean, Bobby Roode's just a really good wrestler. I wasn't as high on this match as you, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it because I'm not sure anybody was as high on this match as you were. It was a really good match. A really good match. Yeah, Ray sold for like 90% of this match, and he's so good in that role. Like, is there like a better underdog wrestler in history than Rey Mysterio?
No, there's no way. He's the ultimate. Like, everyone should be watching his stuff. It's genius the way, and he doesn't even really have his face either to sell. You know, he's one of the greatest wrestlers ever. Extraordinary professional wrestler. Yeah, no, I obviously was higher than most because I think I was more invested though too. You know, like I love Ray and I just wanted to enjoy the match, and I ended up I really did like it. I had one other. The time really did catch me off guard. I didn't expect it to go that long.
Yeah, it was a long. It didn't feel very long though.
No, I agree. But when they walked through the curtain, do you think this was a like shit? Why did we give that 16 minutes, or was it that's what, you know, like people were pumped up? Because I got the sense from commentary that they were really feeling it and thought it was going great.
Yeah,
I hope they did because I thought it was like really great stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I don't think this reign's gonna last very long though.
No,
I think the Usos are taking them pretty quickly.
But they're going to wrestle each other first. Definitely.
They might just win the belts. They might win the belts on Friday and then just do the tag team match as champions.
So it's actually the next film on my notes here, but Jimmy's hair.
Yes.
He has that highlight in it, right?
Yeah. And
I know that's their dream match is to wrestle each other, and like this is the time to do it before you put them back together, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can just do it as a match. And it'll be fun. It'll be a cool spectacle. But yeah, it actually reminded me a lot, Jeremy, especially with the pre-match angle. It really gave me like Clash Champions vibes, you know, like Dominic coming down and like it had an organic feel. And the moment after I thought was great. Good for Ray, good for his dipshit son Dom. Okay.
Did you think Buddy Murphy was gonna come out and be
I didn't. No, bro. If you get Buddy Murphy in there with the Dirty Dogs, and I'm like, fuck, a heart attack. If he came out in this match, I'd have died. I just collapsed in the chair. It would be terrible. So Morrison, the zombies, you know what happened there. Jimmy and Jay are doing this stuff where, like, you know, he's trying to get Jay to stop being
a bitch.
A bitch, whatever.
Yes,
a bitch. And Roman is like,
or whatever. Joseph, this is literally the whole marketing is a bitch.
Oh, it's cool. I like it. They're very good at pro wrestling. They make this stuff work for me. I believe that what they're saying. Miz and Priest are here. Listen, I'm all for variety shows, but Jesus wept. I mean, that was like a Southern Fried tag they just did, and out come the zombies. I just didn't watch it, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, I didn't watch it. The zombies arrived, and they started like piping in horror sound, like crowds going like, and I was like, oh, enough. It's an ad deal. I'm not going to let myself get mad about it. It's, you know, good for them. I didn't watch it, Jeremy. You can review this.
Joseph, this allegedly set the business back 30 years. People were very upset over the zombies. It legitimately amazes me that people have the energy to get upset over this shit.
The dumbest shit ever, bro.
This wasn't even the dumbest thing they did all week, Joseph.
No, I mean them getting mad at it. Like, So I'm off Twitter until like 8 p.m. tonight, Brit, so like 3 p.m. Eastern time. And I go on Twitter because I want to talk to my friends, shoot friends in the DMs, Jeremy knows, about this Ray match, okay? And I also want to see some takes about Cesaro and Reigns. And I go on, and like all I see is zombie discussion. Like, why do you guys do this to yourselves? Like, I just skipped it. Just walk out the room. Like, it's fine. Now, I'll say this much. It appears that, like, I think there's a chance Miz and Morrison have been, like, taken off TV after this. In which case, bring the zombies back. I can pick a few more off for you if you'd like.
What if Miz and Morrison are just zombies? I hope they come out tonight and they're just zombie wrestlers.
Fine. Do whatever you want. It could not bother me any. Like, it's just, I fast forward it because there's no. And here's the thing: I'm not gonna do that bit that people do where they go like, I'm a professional. I had to watch it just to get the rant out and like get views or whatever. Like, you guys know this wasn't for me. They knew it wasn't for someone that was reviewing wrestling. I'll just leave it. That's what I do with the TV now too. Like, it's just not for me. But I still can get a lot out of this because the wrestlers are so great, and I already have on the show. So that's that. Jeremy, have you got anything to say about it other than what you've already said? Like, I saw you tweeted saying like this is awesome or whatever whatever you tweeted.
Oh, dude, I was tweeting about the hockey game.
Oh, someone added me on that and was like, "Oh, I'm interested how Joe reacts." So I was like, "Oh, Jeremy's doing this."
I was watching Florida and Tampa at that time. That game was fucking fantastic. As far as the zombie stuff goes, like I did tweet that like the best way to watch this stuff is just to like laugh at it. Like if you get angry at this stuff at this point, like what are you doing? Like you just gotta laugh at this shit, right? Because there's no point in getting angry. It was a movie tie-in. Was it dumb? Yes. Was it stupid? Yes. Is it actually going to matter? No. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it should matter and it'd be a little bit better. But you know, they just did zombie shit. Whatever. I hope it means something. I legitimately hope Miz and Morrison are off television. I hope it leads to some wacky skits. I hope they're zombies. I hope something actually comes out of it and they're just not like back on TV tonight and it's like, well, managed to survive. I'm fine. Like, come on now, you know?
Look, no one wanted to watch this match.
No.
So, like, here's the thing. If they did this to Cesaro versus someone, not that's a bad example because he wrestled Roman, but, like, if they did this to a match people were excited about online, I get getting angry, kind of. Bro, no one wanted to see this match.
Dude, this feud should have ended at WrestleMania, and then Miz pinned Priest with his pants down the night after, and they've been feuding for 5 weeks since, and they're like, oh, you gotta blow this off now. And so they just added something to a match. Like, it was a predictable match. We knew Priest was gonna win. If, God forbid, they had Priest lose this match. They did a movie tie-in with it, whatever. Again, it wasn't the most offensive thing they'd done all week. They literally had a mind control. Shayna Baszler cramp up in the middle of the ring on Monday.
Exactly. It's fine. Hell in a Cell is now in June.
Yes.
I do love the ongoing, just like, we're just going to ad-lib our pay-per-view schedule. Very much appreciate that. I like someone just sitting backstage going, Seth and Cesaro would be good in a cell, huh? And Bruce goes, June, Hell in a Cell. And they just run an ad. It's good stuff. Jimmy and Jay are still bickering. I mentioned here in my notes that the Jimmy's hair has been gimmicked somewhat. I don't know if it's always been this way since he came back. I have not watched. But his hair is set up for a singles match, which I think will be very, very fun. Speaking of fun, everyone's favourite is here now. Grand Slam Pam, the multi-time women's champion known as Bayley. Her name is often, Jeremy, as you know, split into both Bay, Lee, just in case you struggled with it. How do you feel while I tweet this link and try and get some Bayley fans in here? How do you feel about Bayley's gear? Because my brother and I were like fashion. We were all over. We were stylists talking about this shit, bro. Like, what's the deal with the shorts and the? Am I wrong on this, Jeremy? I don't understand the like cut-off shorts deal. She's dressed like one of Raven's flock. It confuses me.
I don't pay attention to this stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not pay attention to any of this.
Tremendous. Okay. Thank you for that.
Let me fast. I still got the cock up here. Let me see what she was wearing.
It's not nothing new, by the way. I was like, I don't get it.
All right, here we go. Yeah, the hair is disheveled. I noticed the disheveled hair.
The hair is awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's got the jean. I don't pay attention to it. And to me, I feel like she's been wearing this for 5 years now. Maybe I'm wrong.
She has. She hasn't worn it for a long time. Okay. I'll now review the match, folks. Jeremy does not want to play ball with the 3/4 length gimmicks that she wears. Okay. What have we got here? Okay, so this match, I did not have high expectations of this match because I thought it would be like the TV match they had, which was like just steady and rigid in structure. I thought the same thing would happen here. And early on, that was the case. Like, it was very simple stuff. Bianca was overpowering her. She was running wild, all that good deal. And she stepped ahead the whole way. And then Bayley, grabbed her ear ring or something for a cut-off, which apparently was something that happened on SmackDown. And thus far, for about 6 minutes, I would guess, it was about what I said. It was pretty safe and, just fine, steady match. Good, but it wasn't daring to be much more. And then Bayley, suplexed her on the steps, then does a suplex on the floor, and I was like, okay, now this thing should really ramp up. And boy, did it. It went through the gears super quick. There was an awesome spot, which was if you were to encapsulate why Bayley is really good, this spot would be the one you'd show, which is where she pins Bianca and takes a bump to the floor and a kick out. That's this match summed up in 5 seconds, because her job here was not take the shine off Bianca Belair, make her look like a monster and a star, but also get herself where she needs to be as a contender. That spot was it. It's absolute, perfect point. What else have we got here? She also hit the camera on that, which made it look better. There was a fleeting moment of dialogue, but then Belair just punched her in the face, and that stopped the dialogue. Then they started going back and forth, and they started playing around with the structure. Every time you thought Belair was rolling on a comeback, Bayley would cut her off. She had one on the post where she, head first, and it was even though everyone in the world knew the finish of the match was not going to be a Bayley win, they got creative enough with it in terms of back and forth that you was where's the swing coming here? Which is all you can do in these positions. It's a hard one. I liked Bayley trying to cheat on the roll-ups because she did that consistently as champ. It makes perfect sense for her to go back to it here. The ref spotted it. They traded some strikes. Bayley raked the eyes, and the ref was which fought me. But Bianca Belair has moments where she's one of the best, sellers. This feels like the wrong term. Saleswoman in the World Wrestling Federation, and this was one of those moments, Jeremy, as she got her eyes raked and was she looked like she was in agony. She couldn't see shit. It was really, really good stuff. Then Bayley started doing those spots where you can tell Bayley's put them in notebooks and stuff and save them. Where she used the hair to set up Bayley to belly, which was awesome. She pulled her through with it. And then she tried to do the same on her finish. Bianca rolls through 1-2 3.1. Really good match. They'll definitely run it back, and rightly so, because I wouldn't want to put Bianca with Carmella right now, or someone lesser than Banks and Bayley, because they're just experts at what they've got to do here. Really good match, not as sort of daring in terms of layout as the Banks match was, but still a very smart one. And in the end, they really produced something strong here. When halfway, maybe not halfway, a third in, I was kind of just it's cool. I ended up being big time invested, and again, I think they're definitely nailing it with Bianca as an in-ring. I don't know. I watch TV, so I don't know what it feels like on SmackDown, but Banks and Bayley, man, you ain't gonna get better than that, right? They take everything she's good at, they put it in there, and they keep themselves protected because they're stars. Obviously, that's what they do. So, very, very good match, Jeremy. What did you think of it?
I went on an Oreo McFlurry run during this match. So I missed. It sounds like I missed the not great portion of this match. So that's good. By the time I got there, it was. I enjoyed the closing stretch of this match, and I like the creativity of the finish, and I like that Bianca's doing more with her hair. She did an interview with your pal Alex McCarthy. I guess I don't know when it went up, but I listened to it today. And she talked about how she'll use her hair when she needs to, but because she didn't use it for the longest time, and I always wondered, why don't you use your hair more? Because she used it all the time in NXT. I thought it ruled. So I like that they're kind of saving that and busting it out in the big moment. So I like the closing portion of this match. They've definitely been very good with Bianca in ring, and they've given her two you can't really ask for two better people to work with in your first two big title matches than Sasha and Bayley. Like, she might be the best ever. And Bayley, as far as just like putting together a match, just having a good, solid foundation for a match, like Bayley she's aces in that department. So they've done a great job with Bianca. And I enjoyed the portion of this match that I watched. Had I watched the first portion of this match, maybe I would have enjoyed it less. But I was ordering Oreo McFlurries, and that was very good.
Yeah, and it's worth, because I know that I'm so nitpicky that people think I don't like stuff sometimes when I'm critiquing it. The first portion of the match is not like bad; it's just kind of safe, you know.
Yeah.
Mark of Misery, we love you, my friend. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you very soon. Okay. Yeah. So this was good. Thumbs up, no problem. Probably my second favourite match of the night, but the next one is an absolute roller coaster. So if you want to tell me that one, say it, man. I loved all of this stuff that I watched. The Triple Threat opener was fine. The rest of it, I really love. MVP did a promo. He's really great. WWE title, Triple Threat match. Big Van Bob. Drew, the Swordman, and Braun, who says his own name. And also operates a train. I'm going to go through this note by note, but Jeremy, can we first come to grips with something like true? You know when I started doing that bit that Braun is good? It's not actually a bit, is it? Like, Braun's fun, bro. Like, when you just make him the Big Show, Braun is a very good Big Show. Like, he did some really good shit in this match. Like, and he was working hard, and like, he's just a simple pro wrestling archetype, a great big fella that shouts his own name. And like the fact that they overcomplicated him to the point where we didn't like him is probably, and also that dumb quote he had about indie guys, I get that, but like when you see him in this fight, it's like, man, Braun's useful, you know?
He's definitely.
Am I being unfair?
No.
Yeah,
like good. Braun is definitely useful. I think the issue with Braun is the issue with a lot of people in WWE is that they just make him so unlikable, and they book them so poorly that it's like, man, this guy sucks. But you put him in this setting, he's good. He's been good during this feud and stuff. Braun is at his best when you just keep it simple and you just have him destroy shit. Like that's all you got to do. That's what got him over in the first place when he's just tearing down a bunch of shit in the Roman feud. Like that's what got him over. Just do that with him. You don't need to overcomplicate Braun Strowman. You don't need to give him choo-choo sounds. You don't need to make him look like an idiot with Shane McMahon and stuff. Just have him be big Braun Strowman. Like,
yes.
That's it.
And two people in the chat here have pointed out exactly what my notes say. Both of them reminded of the SummerSlam Fatal 4-Way that also featured Brock, Roman, and Joe that Braun was in. That was like a sort of Avengers fight, you know, where it's just chaos.
Right.
That's what they went for with this match. I don't think it's quite as good, but man, there's no shame in falling a little short of that. Like this way overperformed, I thought. I really did like it. Now, Bobby wants Drew to work with him somewhat. They kind of do. Then they fight. At this point, Braun floor and like just tries to take his own head off. Like in just an incredible feat in which he legitimately just dives head first onto the floor. And Bob and Drew hold him up long enough that he does not in fact die. So good for Braun. Drew then does a crossbody and also only lands on his own head. This is the kind of match we're in here, folks. None of this is criticism. It is fucking awesome. It's a three-way sprint. My notes is that it's not quite as good as that SummerSlam match, but man, they're swinging for the fences. Drew at one point does a zigzag. As you'd expect, Jeremy, that gets a 2. Dude, Braun, fuck. You know that move Bob does that I love, Jeremy, where he just picks a guy up and slams him through the mat?
Yes.
Braun, like, takes that on his... Like, he stands up. Like, he just lands on his foot and then falls down. It's the most awkward shit ever. It's so fun. It's just fun big boy wrestling. You can't argue with it. The steps get involved at one point. Drew's claymores Braun. He, like, throws himself over the barricade. Then Bob he suffers the same fate as our friend Brell and, like, dies via electricity and just gets launched in there. Yes. Then it comes out of Braun and Drew, and, like, Braun sprints down the ramp. He's just going berserk at this point, but it's ridiculous. He does like a senton for 2, just kills Drew, lands on it flat on his chest. Drew does a Michinoku driver on Braun Strowman. That's a real thing happening. Yeah. A Michinoku driver on Braun Strowman. This match owns. And then Braun is like, well, maybe I could do a little bit more, and takes a fucking belly-to-belly suplex on the floor, and again, he lands directly on his own head.
Yeah.
These dudes are nuts, man. Like, seriously, these guys are... They are what the Twitter would call, Jeremy, built different. He then power bombs Drew through the table, and the tables now are so funny because like the action figures, they just break into all their separate pieces immediately on any impact. It pops me every time, but that happens, and then they get back in the ring, and Drew hits a Claymore. Big Bob comes back, spear, and pins the Braun Strowman. This was literally Braun Strowman as the Big Show, portraying the Big Show, and frankly doing a better Big Show than the Big Show did for most of his career. And I like Big Show, but it's the truth. Match owned. No one can have a fair complaint about this match. This way over delivered, right?
Yeah. I expected a little bit of craziness because I don't feel like you can do the formulaic WWE triple threat match with these three guys. I mean, they could have, and it would really sucked. I'm glad they went the direction they went, and it's just like, let's just do like car crash shit. And like car crash shit in the best way. That doesn't mean like a car crash match is like bad by any means. And that's exactly what they did here. The finish a little telegraphed with, Lashley getting taken out. It's like, all right, he'll come back at some point and win the title, or retain the title. So, but I'm happy Lashley did retain the title because I think he should retain it. I really enjoyed this match. I didn't have high expectations for it going in. I'm glad they went the way they went with it and just did complete, like, how long was this match, Joseph? Do you know?
I don't know. I think I've got it here though. It was 14 minutes.
Okay, they just went 14 minutes of complete car crash chaos, and that's exactly what it should have been. I'm glad they booked this the way that they did, and they didn't follow with a formula for this match. They just did a 14-minute sprint. It was very, it was like the Goldberg Brock stuff. It's like sometimes you just need to do that stuff. Sometimes you just need to do to protect these guys and to actually accentuate the positives. Just let them go out there and just do, just big boy shit for 10 to 15 minutes instead of, all right, put him in a headlock here, get the heat, get a guy knocked out of the ring, and he stays out there for 5 minutes and do a 5-minute singles match while this goes on. Don't do that shit. Just let him do this.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's actually worth saying on that point, Jeremy. This show was very well paced.
Yes.
And I did not expect that when I saw 3 hours. I actually was very scared. Nothing overstayed its welcome for me. I'm sure that isn't, not common because I'm sure a lot of people pointed out the SmackDown tag as being too long. Obviously I loved that, so that wasn't a problem. The rest I thought was pretty hard to pick holes in. Speaking of such, the main event, the big dog, Roman Reigns and Cesaro in a match that these two have had great matches before, or at least one that I can remember, with Roman as a sort of struggling babyface on Raw. Folks, I have to tweet the link again because I want these Roman fans to. Last time I put Roman over huge and no one clipped that, Jeremy. Did you notice that?
Very sad.
How's it? JJ, he tells me it's just a screenshot guy. Not good enough, JJ. We need. Do you know how over we could get on Twitter? Different game. Let me tweet this, folks. Because this match I thought was just fabulous. So let's get this out there. The tribal chief and all that good stuff. Okay. Yeah, so these two had a really good match for and they just gel well because size-wise they're matched up nicely where Cesaro can do his power stuff without it becoming the whole point of the match where you just go in circles and he's throwing a guy around. It's fun, but this was always going to go longer, so it needed more nuance and it got it. Right. Here we go. This is my first time actually really trying to listen in and hear this theme that Roman has. I have to say, Jeremy, I think it's pretty cool. It seems like people are coming around on it. I think it's pretty neat. I like that it still feels epic and grand,
The more I hear it, the more I like it. And I liked it decently enough when I first heard it, but it's definitely a theme that grows on you. They love the little, like, horns for these heel themes, though. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They love that shit.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, like Bayley and Seth Rollins, like, kind of have the same little, type deal.
When Bayley came, when we did the Bayley match and I talked about her gear, and you was like, I don't pay attention to that. I think you've just hit on the thing that I don't pay attention to. Because I watched the Roman Daniel Bryan match and was like, great match. And I went on Twitter and people going, the theme. I was thinking, theme? I just, is what it is. The Jey Uso is asked to stay back here. all of this stuff adds great uncertainty to the result. You know, your mind starts playing tricks. You start saying, "Hang on a second, do we see an Usos, kind of interference? Do we see that happen? Does Cesaro win in sort of Eddie Guerrero fashion, where there's, you're doing something else, but you give them that moment along the way, which is great, and it just enhances what the guys are about to do. Tight lock up because, of course, both good professional wrestlers, and away they go, baby. Here we are. There's a neat little moment early where Cesaro's going for quick pins. It's all very simple, but it's effective. At this point, Paul Heyman says, "You are the tribal chief," which is a very normal way to talk to your clients. Reigns cuts him off, and the shoulder is an immediate target. And let me tell you, folks, listen here. You'll see some stuff in this business. Okay? You'll see some arms being worked. This is probably some of the most graphic limb work on an arm I've ever seen. Cesaro's arm looked in tatters after this. It looks completely destroyed. And away we are. We're starting on it here. And Cesaro is almost immediately at this point flying uphill. There's a great moment that, I said about Bale and Blair, the little moment that captured the match. There's a great one here where Cesaro's in the corner and he's like, doing the deal where he's feeling his arm and all that stuff. And he fires off European uppercut and Roman hits him with that one, that's the Samoan uppercut that all those guys throw, right? The snap one, sort of the fingers in the throat deal. Cesaro takes a bump and it's like, when you do the stuff you do well, it really is very simple. It's just about placing stuff correctly. Roman has always been great at that, and Cesaro obviously can do so much shit. How badly can one place it? But that becomes a theme. You see these comebacks, and then Reigns will come off again, tease. It's really good stuff. Then pop-up uppercut. Is that correct? Pop-up uppercut.
Yeah.
Leads them to a double down. And that's an awesome move to do that because it really does feel like a last ditch. Like you're flinging, it looks awesome every time, right? It was perfect here. And Cesaro's rolling all of a sudden. He targets the leg, and he's really, I've seen in the past that Cesaro can be kind of cold. Like he's a perfect athlete that doesn't feel it enough out there. It wasn't the case here. Like he was in this moment. He was emoting just great. He hooks a sharpshooter. Then does like a dive deal and he's chasing Reigns around ringside, the big uppercut. And like, it's all stuff Cesaro's done before. But in the context of him trying to win the big one, it felt way grander. Right? Yes. Like him chasing after Reigns, it was like desperate. Like he's got him rolling, he's got a strike now. I think Michael Cole and Pat McAfee are a very good commentary team from what I heard here. I do wish they had done a better job with like the sport element of guy that everyone knows is great, getting a shot to win the big one. Like they had moments where they were like the boyhood dream, but that's just such a like at this point that's like a WWE cliche, the boyhood dream. Like, I don't know. I felt like there was more that could be done with just him as an athlete. Everyone knows how great he is. It was a matter of can he put it together against one of the great champions in history. Just a little thing, but it's no big deal. It's obviously not on these two guys, but they were doing their thing. There was a spot here that someone brought up in the chat a moment ago. Where, Cesaro's rolling, he tries to do that superplex off the middle, and Roman cuts him off and pulls the shoulder. And, like, at this point, Cesaro's arms are just fucked up. Like, I mean, I apologize, folks, but he's got, like, a big scar on one side, the other one's all red and beaten up, and it's just like, it's violent, not in the way that you think of wrestling being violent, right? Like, it isn't like, staple guns and all that shit, but, like, it just feels visceral, and it's intense and graphic. It's tremendous stuff. Roman then starts trash talking to the Daniel Bryan, who is almost certainly headed to the Honor Arena as we speak. He does that. Roman really did a better job. This is the best I've seen him integrate trash talk within a match. The bit where he's like he's like poking fun at Cesaro, being like, "I love this stuff. It's fun for me," and all that was tremendous. Like he came across like the biggest dickhead ever. It's so like. Seeing him do this stuff is really vindicating for me as a fan of his because it's like, yeah, that's how good he is. Like forget all the stuff and all the packaging around it. Just look at how good this guy is. I saw Tape Machines, who is a patron, which still befuddles me.
Is he?
Yeah, it's fucked up, bro. Like I tweeted the link and was like, we've only got 11. He just tweeted about 12, and I was like, I don't know if Tape reads or watches any of this stuff. He's the best. Love Tape, but he tweets out like. Roman can carry any promotion anytime ever. This guy was seeing that, and I couldn't agree more. Especially with Paul Lee by his side. Like, good lord, this is a killer act, all-time act. The dialogue stuff fits him too. They can get carried away with it, but you can still do it. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Just it's a balance, and I thought they found that here. But Cesaro's still firing back, and he's sending his arm along the way. He's clutching it at every turn. He finally does the superplex off the middle, which we were talking about earlier, for 2. And then he goes for his finish, and his arm prevents him. Dude, how great is it, Jeremy, when you do all that limb work and it actually means something by the end of the match? You know, like, he's actually can't do a move because of all the stuff Roman's done. How simple? How often does it not happen and get forgotten?
It doesn't happen in like
exactly
every single match. I complain about it so much because they spend all this time working an arm or working a knee, and it's just like, let's just fire up, slap the leg a couple times, get the feeling back into it, and then do all your dumb high spots, Seth Rollins.
Yeah, yeah. The slapping of the knee was that was a direct. It wasn't direct enough yet to say his name. Okay, look, I'm all for it. Like, there's something to be said for using adrenaline as a way to do the shit you want to do, but you've got to like at least reward me for paying attention. Like, you can't just ignore it, which is the big thing. What have we got here? Reigns goes to an armbar, and like, they've worked this match so well that I buy this as a finish. I'm like, dude, maybe Cesaro's going to tap out to the fucking armbar. I don't know. Like, why not? Anything could happen. It feels it's been paced as such that any finish is feasible. Cesaro's selling this great. He rolls through, does some kind of counter, and then he goes for like a springboard uppercut and gets Superman punched out of the air. And the timing on this is about as good as you'd expect from these two dudes. It's like perfect. It's spot on. They do the spot that I'm pretty sure they've done like many a time before, where Reigns is going spear, and like Cesaro uppercuts him out of it, that whole deal. But his arm fails him again. He falls into the guillotine choke, and at this point, I'm like, okay, it's a wrap. Because with Roman, they've done a good job of he wins matches in kind of like a flat way. That's the point, right? He's a heel, right? So it's kind of like, oh shit, like, guys, he's got nothing left. And I thought that was where we were at here. But Cesaro powered free again. And he's like, at this point, he just starts battering Reigns. He's throwing, ground and pound. He's going wild. Sharpshooter. His arm is limiting him on applying the sharpshooter, Jeremy. He is now holding it with one arm and using the other arm to just like keep things in. Incredible. Crossface, he transitions to. Reigns like targets the bad arm to break free, and then just starts like, every time Roman does one of these big matches, at some point he just starts like gets mount and just starts kicking the shit out of the guy. And Cesaro at one point here appeared like he was like done, like completely cooked. He's perfect. It was so great. Yes, he looks in a bad way. He puts the guillotine on. The veins start popping out of Cesaro. The man looks like he's like... It never felt goofy, too. Like, when guys sit in guillotines, it can feel so phony. Never that for me here. Like, it felt like he was just trying to fight this hold, and he was struggling, Eventually, after they teased it a few times, he chokes him out with it. I'm really glad that even though they teased the Jey Uso stuff, the Jimmy Uso stuff, the finish was where it was. And I think it's important for this Roman character that I think we both agree should be champ for, like, some time.
Like,
still.
Life?
Yeah. I think it's important he wins this way sometimes, Like, just a great match, and he eventually killed the guy. Like, it is what it is. I don't think you can always do, like, he slips on banana peel, 101 ups and downs. He just won here, and that mattered. Before we get to the post-match, which I don't really have a lot to say.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll just get out of the way, because, who really cares? Jay kicks ass. Seth also does. When you think he might do a save, instead just beats up Cesaro. Amazing match. This has been an extraordinary reign for Roman Reigns. It's got to be in the all-time WWE title reigns, and actually Universal, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like, world title reigns. What did you think, Jeremy? I'm sure this was right up your street.
I said this on Friday. When it comes to Roman, it's like Roman feels like such a big deal because he ain't just wrestling in like multi-man tag matches every week or just random-ass one-on-one matches every week. Like, dude, we just had Lashley wrestle Braun one week and then Drew the next week, and they do a DQ finish and distraction finish back-to-back weeks. I flipped those, but you get it. Like, they don't do that shit with Roman. When this guy wrestles, it feels like an important match. They'll do television matches. They did the Owens Cage match on TV. They did the Bryan match on TV, but like they both felt very, very important. And then like he's just made this title, and yeah, this is an all-time run for Roman Reigns. I don't think he's had a bad match during this run. Like every single match. I think the worst has maybe been the Hell in a Cell match because it got a little too long with things, and it was I Quit match on top of that. So it's a little much, but otherwise, like I still enjoyed that match, and I've enjoyed every single one of these matches. talking about the finish is, as you said, like it's important for him to win kind of like this. And like he's now like he beat Bryan clean. There was no shenanigans in that. There was no shenanigans in this match or anything. Like the matches he's won have been the gimmick with help. Like have been the gimmick matches, right? Like
True.
all the own stuff. Like take advantage of that shit if you're Roman Reigns. I think that adds to like his character is like I can beat you in this stuff, but if the rules say I can have a little bit of help, why wouldn't I smartly use that help and beat you like that? If the rules, are the rules and I just got to beat you clean, I'll just fucking beat you clean. Like that's just how it is. So I absolutely love that when it comes to Reigns. I think everything has been just spot on with this entire character and this entire presentation and this entire storyline.
I do think that's a really great point you've made there, because we do have to be careful, and we both love it, but I think it's important to keep those elements to this character, because in kind of broad terms, it's a really good-looking guy who is a badass that kicks the shit out of everyone. That's a babyface, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's important to every once in a while hit that note of like, dude's kind of a coward, and he kind of sold out. Like he's not admirable. He's formidable, but he's not admirable. And I think you're right. The idea that when the rules allow, he's like, yeah, I'll take the shortcut. Like, I like that. And I also think there's a story to be told with like, and I think they've touched on it with the Daniel Bryan Edge stuff of, he has a very interesting history in big matches, right? And this idea that he's now just like, forget what you guys want me to do. I did that for long enough and got nothing for it. This is now me. I'm not losing this thing until I'm ready to. Until I'm done, I'm champ. It's desperate. It's perfect for him. He captures it great. I have to say that, and this is really unique for WWE, wrestling in general, but for WWE specifically. I cannot find a comparison to what he's doing right now in terms of like, he's the clear number one star, but he's a heel, and a firm heel, not like a 1999 Rock where he's so entertaining and like, he's a horrible guy,
Yeah.
A firm heel, the number one star in the company by distance. Like, who's done this in WWE? This is like Ric Flair as the NWA champ. I feel like you're going to say Triple H. Like when Ric Flair was the NWA champ, he could face anyone and make them. And look, Roman's working with great guys. KO, Jey Uso's tremendous. Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, all these guys are great. But like, we have to be honest about it. He's elevating these guys.
Yeah.
Like, he's actually making them like monsters and killers. A reign unlike any I can remember in WWE history. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic or silly here, but like SP3 actually said, Jeremy, I was on True Heel Heat on the weekend, and I recommend you guys check it out. It was very fun. But he said he's having the reign that Triple H wanted to have in those years, where he's the number one guy as a heel. Like, he's doing this, man. This is incredible.
It's top tier stuff. I mean, I was trying to go through, and I was gonna make the Triple H joke, but there really isn't anyone that I can think of that has been a heel to this level and is by far the absolute top star in the company. Like even when Rock was a heel, like Austin, I know he was out for a portion of that, but like Austin was there. Like Hogan was always babyface. I mean, Hollywood Hogan? I know that's not WWE, but like that's as like close as I can kind of get to it.
Yeah, maybe. But I think the other thing is like, while Hogan was clearly number one because he was like the most famous wrestler ever at that point, maybe still is. WCW had a star-studded cast, right? So like, you could run Savage and Hogan, Piper, and like. And actually, I love these guys. These are not big names that Roman's working some of these times,
And it was a collective of like the NWO. Like it wasn't just like Hogan on top. And I understand like Reigns has Heyman and the Usos, but like we love the Usos. Yeah. Let's not compare them and what they mean to WWE to like what Hall and Nash meant to WCW coming in as outside invaders at that time. So that's like the closest I can get to. But yeah, it's unlike anything else, and man, just credit to the guy, because I saw somebody say it in the chat of like, where's it at? Oh yeah, people like think SmackDown is good because of Roman Reigns, and like it's kind of true. Like if you just watch SmackDown, I said this on Fridays. Like SmackDown is like they do I feel like I've seen the Rude, the Dirty Dogs, and the Mysterio stuff like a million times because they just run that a bunch. Bianca's reign has been, there hasn't been much to it yet. We'll see if it gets better. But like Bayley wasn't a hot challenger or anything. She hadn't won a match in like 5 months. But like the reign stuff just makes everything on that show feel more important. And like, dude, Roman is on a different level, man. Like, I love I tweeted this today. I love after he wins these matches, he does the videos on Twitter where he's doing cardio and he's just like cutting the promos on the guys. And he's like, I'm special. Like, there ain't nobody else in the world like me. There ain't nobody else in entertainment like me. I'm like, I fucking believe that, man. This dude is just different.
He's like, yeah, that's exactly, he's different. He just is, you know? I like a lot of these guys, man. Like, Bob's the champ on Raw. I love Bob. Like, Roman is like, that's a top guy.
Yeah.
And it makes it really obvious how few top guys are around him when you see him at his best. Like, he's very, very, very special. Texel says Roman probably doesn't dip that much about Heyman. On the other side, Heyman with anyone else is not at this level, as we've seen. Exactly that. It's like, he's so great that Heyman feels like icing.
Yeah.
When Heyman is, look, Heyman's great, but he is, you know, he chews up the scenery, right? Like, he's very dramatic and loud, and he knows, like, I don't need that here. I'm going to just let Roman do his thing, and I'll add some stuff along the way. It's just, it's special, man. It's really special. People need to appreciate it. Now, look, I agree with the idea that there's not a babyface. You need to get someone ready. But it's like, weirdly, that's why we're praising it so much. You know, like, because he's kind of doing this on his own. It sounds unfair because Cesaro's such a great wrestler, but, like, we have to be realistic. Seth Rollins as heel champ works Cesaro. It's like, it's cool and they'll have a great match. It doesn't have the gravity and the importance this had. This had like this felt like, oh my god, this is a world title match. It's just different. It's. I wish I was, eloquent enough to explain it, but like everyone in the chat that watched the show knows what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, it's just when Roman comes out, as you said, Jeremy, because he doesn't wrestle every week, maybe he is just different.
Yeah, he 100% is like. I mean, bless him. Like, dude, without him, I don't know where this company would be. As far as like getting a babyface ready, I think everybody's gonna point to Big E. I kind of think SummerSlam. I don't know who's gonna win Money in the Bank. All right, Money in the Bank can obviously throw a lot of different things off. Like the next pay-per-view is Hell in a Cell. I'm not sure who Roman is working at Hell in a Cell, honestly. Like, I'm not even sure he's going to do a Hell in a Cell match because it feels like maybe Lashley and Drew inside Hell in a Cell, and it feels like maybe Rollins and Cesaro inside Hell in a Cell. And then maybe you do a women's match there as well, and I don't know what that match is going to be. So I don't know who Roman is working at that pay-per-view. Money in the Bank, again, same thing. I think SummerSlam, it's Roman and Edge. That's my call for SummerSlam. Because SummerSlam's going to be in front of fans. The reaction Edge got at WrestleMania, I mean, I wasn't like a huge fan of his work up until WrestleMania. I can't deny that reaction. That man was the most over person in the stadium throughout those 2 nights. And crowds are going to be back for SummerSlam as well. I think they're going to do that big singles match at SummerSlam. I don't think Edge should be the one to defeat Roman. I don't think Roman should lose until like SummerSlam 2020 at this point. Because if you're going to do Roman and Rock at Mania, like, he shouldn't lose that match. So like, I feel like you got a while on this title reign. I don't know if they're going to go that long with him, but I think Edge and Roman is the match at SummerSlam.
That'd be cool. I agree with your point. Like, Edge's reaction spoke volumes, you know? There's still a lot of juice in that. So, to be clear, Ferb, man, I'm not saying the Seth now. I'm saying, like, 2015 heel Seth as champ. Fine chicken shit heel champ, but, like, not the same, you know? No. Or, like, who else has been a heel champ for a long time? Like, I'll say someone that I like, so make clear I'm not being biased. Daniel Bryan as heel champ, as, you know, the the Earth man that we booed. He was wonderful. If he wrestles Cesaro, it feels like a great match. It doesn't feel like the event this feels like. It's just different, you know? It's not a knock on anyone. Not everyone can be Roman Reigns. That's the point of this.
That Bryan comes close, because, like, the Kofi match had similar elements of first time getting a shot and everything. Maybe because it was Mania, it felt on this grander stage. I do think that, like, yeah, if you do like a Bryan Cesaro match on a B pay-per-view, it probably doesn't feel as grand as this Roman and Cesaro match. But like that Bryan character,
it's great.
yeah,
it was great.
But yeah, I'm with you.
Like, I'll put it this way, okay? If that Bryan comes out in the second hour to defend his title, you're like, yeah, sure. If Roman Reigns is not on last, you're thinking, what the hell have they got planned tonight?
Yeah.
Like, he feels like so obviously the main event. It's almost unfair on the Raw guys.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Roman's main evented Mania 5 times at this point, right? No one else has that kind of investment. No, look, 100%. He's been helped by the fact that they've made him a bigger deal. But I just think there's a physical charisma to him that's just simply a tier above. For me, anyway. Speaking of charisma, we will now talk about Under Siege.
Let me read Throwback's bits. Cheered 100 bits. Says, do you see Cesaro at some point winning a big title? Could he win Money in the Bank and make WWE title the focus, possibly winning that title? I think that's the best move for him, is to go over to Raw, because, like, I love Cesaro. Great wrestler. He ain't the guy to knock off Roman Reigns. Like, you gotta be on a different level to knock off Roman Reigns. And like we've been talking about, like, there ain't nobody on that level right now for WWE. So I do think Cesaro could go over. Like, Cesaro Lashley, he beats Lashley. Like, sure, I can 100% see that. I don't see him beating Roman.
Yeah, I actually mentioned this on the aforementioned True Hill Heat. Like, I think that's a really interesting possibility where you say, hey, you know what? This guy's proven he belongs at this level, but timing is such that he can't beat Reigns. Rory's got wide open slot. Now, look, I would ideally go with a younger guy because, look, I love Cesaro, but he's not, he's not like a long term. But exactly, young. My alternative is Damian Priest, who's like 70. So it is what it is. I try not to sweat that stuff. I try not to sweat any of it, to be honest with you guys. I just watch it as a professional wrestling product, featuring many professional wrestlers I like, and I generally enjoy myself since doing this as pay-per-views. I'm now tweeting out the Under Siege link because I assume 20 viewers are about to leave us, so we need to get some new Impact, folks. Okay. Under Siege was Saturday night in the famed Impact Zone that I don't think is actually called the Impact Zone. We start with this, as all shows should, with Brian Myers versus Black Truce, as all shows should and always will do.
We're going to run through Impact here, Joseph.
Run through?
Yeah. We got to run
through.
Not
like stumble?
Jog? Sure, but like we can't be spending an hour and 12 minutes talking about Impact.
That's fair. That'd be a very poor use of time. Now, here we go. Black Truce, he did a match like this with Gallows, which was like one of the funniest matches in wrestling history, where like these WWE guys just like fit him into their structure, and it's the funniest shit ever because like it's just such a weird usage of the guy. It's not even bad. It's just odd. I do like the Brian Myers. I really, really do like him. I think he's been. This is going to sound like such an insult, Brian Myers. If you ever see this, please know I mean it lovingly. He gives me the tailor-made man vibes, Jeremy. You know when Terry would come out for a nice 8-minute match on a WCW pay-per-view? That's Brian Myers. Brian, I promise that's high praise from me. And it's simple enough. He gets thrown around. He does a great cut-off where he punches Crazy Steve in the face and then uses that to bait Truce and then just kicks the shit out of him. That ruled. And then he does what Gallows did and he settles down and he, grabs a hold and it's fine. It's safe. It's all good. Viewers have not gone down. Very scary. They might be expecting actual opinions on this show. And then, Truce does something cool. They do a double down. Slightly slow comeback to sell. Couple near falls. Matt Striker does a good job with Brian Myers. He puts over the idea that he's tactical and he's smart. Good job, Matt Striker. And then he thumbs him in the eye and lariats him and pins him. It was quite good. I liked it. Jeremy did not see it.
Don't lie to the people.
You did see this. You made it to this point.
I mean, it was the first match.
I forgot that I forgot that I told you a match to watch and you made it up to the start of that match and then stopped watching. I'd forgotten that. Carry on. Give me your review.
I mean, let's not fully lie and say I saw this match. I had it on while I worked, and I saw bits and pieces of it, and it seemed fine.
Good. Donald Dashwood, Taylor Wilde took on the
Van Hammer Hiroshi Tanahashi mixture of Taylor Wilde.
It's in my notes. It's in my notes. I slotted Strike a compliment in there earlier just for the sake of like, I need to balance this out because of what he says in a minute. Susie and Kimberly setting the tone for the ongoing just plethora of tag teams that show up on this show that are interesting choices. Taylor Wilde's theme is one of the scariest things in wrestling history. As our friend Jeremy mentioned, the air guitar sparks a comparison to a bit of Van Hammer, a bit of Tanahashi, which I'm sure was meant comedically, and I did not laugh. The baby faces, I guess one baby face, and tonight they team up a little bit, and then like Susan does some stuff, and then they do like a minute of heat. Taylor makes a cool comeback. Susan does a superplex, which is tremendous because like I think her bit is that she can't wrestle, which is fun. And then like Caleb just like kicks someone or does something, and then there's a German suplex for the win. These shows are very well produced. This was not well produced. I don't know what they were going for. Taylor Wilde looked great, so good for her.
Yeah, I thought Taylor Wilde was fine. The rest of it was just like,
Sami Callihan did a promo. I have my limits. I will not watch that. Tag title eliminator. I learned of this match on True Hill Heat, in which 4 teams took place in this here. This is to decide who faces the champions Finn Juice. And I legitimately spent every team being like, huh? So you have the team of Madman and Ace, which I know. Who else is in this? Mahabali Shira is in this thing? How is he still around? Good knows. He's in here with Ray Roger. He's doing it. Then you got the other teams, folks. Oh, I haven't even got them in my... Triple XL. And then the team of Petey Williams and TJP.
Yes.
Of course. What a
lineup. Standouts.
At this point, Matt Striker says, Petey and TJP now have the personality, unlike in their youth where they were too focused on competition. I'd debate that one, but there you go. They brawl at the bell, and you know how these matches go. Jesus, they all take turns. It's the shittiest kind of match in wrestling. The 4-corner tag where everyone has to it's just terrible. It's no good. It's never been good. There's no sense of momentum because it's always been chopped up and everyone's doing different portions of the match. You can't actually do a segment of something and stick to it. Everyone's going everywhere. It's horrible. Anyway, it's stuff. It's just stuff. At least with elimination, you have some drama before the aprons are cleared and everyone does their moves, which is where you know you're getting to. So they build to some kind of Petey hot tag, which then results in Triple XL taking over, and then it just goes in every direction. And Ace Austin eventually wins, which is good, because of course he should win. Look at this match. Everyone worked hard, it was fine, but like these matches are so... If I never saw another one, Jeremy, I talk about triple threats being lame. Bro, these are the lamest. Multi-team, they suck. Jeremy, did you like this more than I hope so.
No, this is a match I really didn't pay attention to, despite it being on. I hope AC Romero's okay. He got the COVID. He got it in early May, by the way.
I'm not, to be clear, I'm not laughing at AC Romero. I'm just liking at you like getting the most out of your scoop on that. You know, like you're gonna bring up later and you'll be like, what did you think of Kiera Hogan? And you'll be like, let me tell you, AC Romero, wish him well.
I think the right team won at least. Ace and Fulton. I think they're gonna win the titles on Thursday too.
Great. W. Morrissey took on Willie Mack.
Yeah, here we go.
Matt Striker at this point says, Morrissey is meeting accountability in the form of Willie Mack. You tell me, folks. No clue. No idea. Willie Mack is awesome. He jumps in with strikes and it rolls. He is like one of the great right hands in the industry. He's just whacking Morrissey. And he's running wild, all this good stuff. He's whacking him at ringside place. And then there's this cool deal where like the whole match shifts because Morrissey kicks Willie Mack through the ropes and Mack takes like a flip bump and he does like a knockout cell. His eyes are all glazed and all this stuff. It's very, very good stuff. Willie Mack is great. Morrissey opts against a count-out win during the break, which is always good. He begins to beat up Willie Mack at ringside, at which point, Jeremy, Matt Striker says, the guardrail is for the camera crew. He says this while the camera captures one of that camera crew standing within the guardrail. So I'm glad to see Matt was paying attention to what's in front of him. Yes, back in center ring, W. Morrissey grabs a hold, and I feel like I could have just gone home. Really, I didn't really see the need to grab a hold, considering the fact that Willie Mack was apparently knocked out cold. I didn't really get this, but it lacked any oomph at this point. Morrissey just needs a bit more intensity in terms of the work. It's one thing to do the intensity with the mean faces. I love a good wrestler mean face, but you got to give me the intensity bell to bell, man. It's just, it's a little bit ploddy. I'm not a fan. They do make the most of his skill set. It's just a little bit flat for me. Willie does make a good comeback, but Morrissey cuts him off and pins him with like a kick to the back of the head or something. And then, of course, as everyone in the world knows, Rich Swann makes a save. I like the direction of Swann and Morrissey for both, because I think it's an easy way to give Swann a roll-up win that, like, it reins Morrissey in without, like, upsetting your whole fan base, and it gives Swann a good win. If he just kills Rich Swann, like, I'm sorry, man. I know he's tall, and, like, good on him. He's in good shape, and I wish him the best.
Can't
but,
teach
like,
that, Joseph.
You can't, no, but it's just, there's only so much you can do with him, right? This was fine. I would have done it as a sprint, Frank. I would have just took what they did and just condensed it.
See, I would have done the same thing. I would have just had Morrissey, like, just kill Willie Mack. No offense to Willie Mack. Like, they've slotted him at this point, and they clearly want to make Morrissey. So if you just want to make the guy, just, like, have him kill Willie Mack and then beat the shit out of him after the bell. Swann makes a save. You do that, and then you go from there. But I thought this was just, like, too much. Either cut it down, like you said, and do, like, just a sprint, or if you want to go all the way with Morrissey, then just murder the man.
Is Willie Mack's contract coming up soon?
I don't know. I can look. Hold on.
I want to say the last time I looked at our wonderful contract resources page, it was pretty soon. So that'll be interesting to follow, because frankly, he hasn't been treated like a big deal for some time, has he? It must be said.
Swans is apparently this month.
Uh-oh. Well, retract my prior comment on what's going to happen in that Morrissey match, because
it doesn't say for Willie Mack.
Yeah. I apologise. Women's tag titles. I don't know if I mentioned Fire and Flavor did a promo earlier. They're a great team. I really enjoy them in this setup. And here they are. They are taking on the newly crowned champs of the Rachel Erin and Jordan Grace. This was very good, actually.
I'm assuming Willie Max is close to this month because he signed a multi-year deal in 2019, and usually those multi-year deals are 2 years.
Yeah. Tremendous. Okay. The Fire and the Flavor, they jump the champs at the bell, and then they kind of just put in their place. They get the shit kicked out of them for a little bit. Whoever agents Fire and Flavor's matches, they will never see this, but if they do, you're doing a very good job. They always have good cut-off spots. They always have a nice little team spot where they show that they're smarter, because they're generally the smaller team in TNA. Interesting. Impact. Sorry, folks. Impact. And they do a cool deal here. And then, like, Tasha Steele's just like, my God, she ramped it up. She started talking wild trash. She was getting intense. She changed the whole tone of the match. And it was like, now there's someone that's desperate to get her belts back. She's really good, let me tell you. Tasha Steele's one of the most underrated in-ring performers I've seen, like, that's on national TV, you know? Debatable what you call television at this point, but she's on it, and she's really, really good. What we got here? They was really doing, like, an old-school heat segment. They're pulling, Ellering back. It's extended. They had an extended shine, extended heat. It's good stuff. And then they get to an awesome Jordan Grace hot tag. She's also great. They do a neat little, like, taste your own medicine spot where Kiera gets caught up in the emotion of it and actually distracts the ref while they do a double team. Little role reversal deal, which is always neat. And it wound up with all four women being down. What we got here, Grace did some stuff. And then, like, on the floor, Kiera Hogan did, like, a sliced bread on the floor. Insane. Don't know where it came from, but it happened. And then, like, a sudden frog splat. Whoever agents their matches does a good job on the cut-offs, but not a great job on the finishes. They always come out, like, a little bit like, oh, that was it. But a really, really good match. And I'll say what I've said before. Look, I understand they've said some things that upset people. That's wrestling, I get. But, like, Fire and Flavor are a really good team, Jeremy Lambert. Like, they've really become a cohesive unit that still stands out separately. They're a great centerpiece of this division, and I'm glad they got the belts back. I think it's actually the right thing for all involved. But, yes, this was very good. Did you enjoy it, Jeremy?
I enjoyed this match.
Good. Swingers Palace, I did not watch. Did you?
It was on. I don't care. Like, do you watch Impact Weekly? Okay. Impact guy Joel Pearl is always like, "Oh, Swingers Palace, this is the best stuff. This is awesome."
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about this.
Yeah, it's probably not for us, right? We're the casuals. We come in and out, Jeremy. For the big events like Under Siege.
Yeah, I just.
Man, we lost like 6 viewers.
Joseph, did you see AC Romero in this segment? Hope he's well.
Yes, good job. Okay, this show thus far was a struggle for me, and then I enjoyed the last match. And the next one, now we're starting to roll. X Division title, Josh Alexander and El Phantasmo. This was really good, as expected. Josh kind of out-wrestled him early, muscled him around. And then as ELP starts to speed things up, he gets like his first success. It's a simple enough deal. It's interesting. The way they like turn this thing around is like ELP just like treads on his foot, which like God bless. I mean, that would hurt indeed. I don't know if there's something to that I missed. I apologise if there is, but he had just tread on his foot and it hurt Josh Alexander very, very much. They keep swinging back and forth with things. It isn't one where they settle into a structure. It goes back and forth pretty violently. Josh just starts chopping the shit out of him. He's so good, man. He's such a good pro wrestler. The foot is actually a sustained target, so I assume that in some form or fashion, Josh Alexander has established that his foot is a weakness. If not, do that, Josh Alexander. It rules. ELP does that dick kick spot he does, where he like just treads on a guy's dick over and over again. And then Alexander suplexes himself free. They do the spot that everyone that wants 4 stars does, where you throw a chop and miss and hit the post. ELP uses it for about... To be fair, he actually uses it. I'm not going to lie. He uses it. They do some stuff with it later. It's good. Everyone does it. It's very frustrating. What we got here? Josh is always selling, but they don't really settle into like a heat or a shred. They're just doing stuff, but that doesn't mean it isn't, hasn't got some depth or layers. There's some nuance to it. It's just high paced. They're not settling. They trade some strikes, some moves. It all looks good. The hand is like a thread throughout now. Josh Alexander's kicking ass. He does a German suplex. He does that wacky crossbody dive through the bottom rope thing where he like wipes the guy's back out. It's tremendous stuff. ELP does a Hurricane Rana off the top rope, in which I assume they were going to smash the lights of the impact zone. They did not. They landed safely. Then they do some cool pinning combinations for a while, and he gets the ankle lock. He tries to do it with the other hand because, he's messed up and all that good stuff, and then he goes back to his bread and bar, gets the win. Great match. One that probably speaks for itself more if you just watch it, because they just do like loads of cool shit. But there's some really good stuff kind of scattered throughout too. So Josh Alexander is, if Tasha Steelz is underrated, then I don't know what you even call Josh Alexander. I mean, this dude just gets no love at all from the wider wrestling population. Like, he's so good. And the craziest thing is, Jeremy, is he's good in a way that, like, wrestling fans love pro wrestlers like him. And yet he just seems to just go under the radar. It's really interesting. I saw, was it Dax or Cash was talking about, like Brody would talk about him a lot, and, a big fan. I'm glad to be in the industry now how good he is, because, damn, he really good. Great X Division champ. Really good match. Jeremy did not see this, but he thinks it was going to be good.
I imagine this was good. I really like Josh Alexander. I think ELP is he's very good. Sometimes his style can be... I think you think I'm higher on him than I probably am. But sometimes his style is just too choreographed for me. And like the people tweeted that video of him doing the rope walk across the ring and the DVD onto the outside. It's very choreographed stuff, and I don't always like that stuff. But as far as just like his wrestling ability goes, he's still a very good professional wrestler. And the contrast in styles against Josh Alexander makes it sound like this would be a great match that I'll never watch.
Good. Eddie Edwards and Finn Juice do a promo. Eddie Edwards makes me laugh anytime he talks. Never quite sure of what he's going to say. He looks a little bit unconfident in himself, but he's a very good professional wrestler, so I'll leave him there. Deonna Purrazzo and Havoc. This one looked like a challenge on paper. Did a very good job of it. Deonna Purrazzo is indeed spectacular. One of the best women's wrestlers in the world. One of the best wrestlers in the world probably right now, to be honest with you. This match was way better than early right to be. Early on, she's peppering Havoc with strikes. She's obviously outsized. She gets overpowered. They do like an interference deal of some kind. She cuts her off. Goes straight after the arm, which is not just like her character, but like she uses it smartly. Like she cuts off a comeback later by just targeting the arm directly. She's just very smart. She thinks about what she's doing, and it's good, simple stuff that looks good. Sends her into the post, arm first, that kind of deal. What have we got here? Then Habit uses the other arm for a clothesline, briefly turning the tide. She does some cool stuff, man. You know, she does like a slam, Boston Crab combo, look kind of neat. And then Prazo just like taps her out within 2 minutes after that. It's a very simple match, which is what this match needed to be for it not to be like horrific. It was a tough one in terms of styles. They made it look pretty easy. Deonna Purrazzo is killer. She's just so good right now. She's in one of them like runs of form where it feels like she can make something of very little. I feel like she kind of did that here. Bless Habit, she worked hard, but it's difficult, you know?
Yeah. I imagine this was a great job by Deonna. No offense to Havoc.
Yeah. Okay. We have the what do we call these three dudes now? Bullet Club? Elite? What are they called? The Club? The OC?
Don Callis's puppets.
Okay. Have you seen his like theme for Impact?
Yeah, I wrote an article on it when it first premiered.
Okay. What's happening with Don Callis? That's a good question. I don't know what happened.
It's not sure if it's a work or a shoot. Because Don, you gotta blur the lines, brother. But I don't know if he's actually out as management in Impact, and he's just full-time AEW guy, and it's part of the storyline. Like, if it is part of the storyline, or if it's like he's actually out.
That rules.
Don, I mean, you never know with Don, Joseph. He's the invisible hand. Have you heard that?
I've heard. Yes. So, whatever you call them, man. You called them Don Callis puppets. I'll go with that. I'm not going to say it often because that'll take me a long time. But they are here to wrestle the team, the aforementioned
DCP.
team. There you go. And the Finn Juice. Oh, man. I really wanted to like this match real bad. I mean, I love Gallows and Anderson more than anyone else in the rest of the media. Other than the people that have interviewed them have to pretend I really like them. Kenny's cool, and Eddie's like really great, and Finn Juice are cool. This was kind of lame, I thought, and everyone seemed to like it online. I kind of thought it was shitty, unfortunately, guys. I'm really, really sorry, but nonetheless, they do this thing that Cole has decided he'll do at the start of every match, which is where he gets his arm worked over. It never really leads to anything, but I appreciate it because I like babyfaces working him. So they do this, and Cole pulls the hair, does some shit, and brings Gallows in, and they turn things around, and then they go back to Cole's arm, and the club is struggling again. Cole Anderson's just getting the shit kicked out of him. I don't know if that's an idea, but it's a thing that happens. Anyway, it all leads to Eddie and Kenny meeting, and they go back and forth, and Eddie starts this whole part of this match followed me. Okay, so Finn Juice started kicking the shit out of Kenny, and at this point Striker is like laughing, and he's like, "D-Lo, I know we should be professional. Like, how great is this, right?" Finn Juice, Impact, well, not Impact, New Japan guys that we kind of view as Impact guys beating up the world champion. I'm like, they're also not your guys. You just said that yourself. What are you talking about? Why? Can you decide whether you hate Kenny Omega and think he's ruining the sacred Impact Wrestling, or you love him as an artist of our sport? Please, one or the other. Frustrating me. They do a deal where Gallows and Anderson even have a miscommunication on the floor, and Kenny cleans up the mess. And I don't know if they're doing something with this. It'd be kind of cool if they did, but I sort of doubt it. At this point, Kenny does something heelish, and legitimately Matt Striker's just like, does he have something wrong with him? Good stuff. This thing just lacks any intensity, man. It's just bumming me out. I'm waiting for someone to have some life. They're just sort of doing stuff. They settle into a hold. They're controlling Juice. He gets free. Finley makes a hot tag. Kenny cheats and they get another cut off, and then Gallows goes back to another hold. This time on Finn. They're just doing stuff. There's no life to any of it. Everyone looks exhausted, like they've just done so many tapings, and maybe they had. So, if so, I get it. But man, this was just this had no zip.
This was taped in April, the week after Rebellion. I think it might have been the end of the TV taping cycle. Yeah.
That makes sense because they just look so lacking any kind of like burst or bar. Like it was just so flat. Which again, like I can't stress enough, I wanted to like this match. This is not, I have no reason to pretend it was bad. They do another double
Just
down.
hater,
Eddie comes
Joseph.
in. I am a hater, yes. Eddie's in for the hot tag. And he beats up Omega some, and they're going back and forth. And I hope they get their singles match though. So I think they do a really good job. But Eddie's really good still. He's kind of like, people don't think he's good just because he's an Impact. It's really weird. Like he dresses like Tommy Dreamer, which I think is part of it.
I think
but
that's
he's still
a big
the same wrestler, you know? Because Jeremy, like there was once upon a time he was like one of the guys that people say workhorse, great worker, you know.
Yeah.
Now he's Tommy Dreamer. Everything breaks down, everyone does their moves, and like it just stutters along. There's no real drama. There's false finishes for the sake of false finishes. No one really bites or cares. And then like Edwards just pins Carl Anderson, which I expected because people seem to be confused about this, but I always assumed that he was going to face Kenny. So like, I feel like he needed to win, you know. Everyone just looked tired, and it was like a very average New Japan Pro Wrestling Road 2 match. You like those? This was great. if you've seen enough of them for a lifetime, this was pretty disappointing. I actually thought this match would be really good, and instead it was like a completely unremarkable, forgettable 6-man, which is a shame.
Very sad.
There you go. Did you see any hype about this match?
No. I saw a couple people that liked it. One person just said, I'm a big Eddie Edwards fan, so I enjoyed this match. So, like, all right, if you're a big Eddie Edwards fan, probably did enjoy that match.
Because I'm also an Eddie Edwards fan, but I did not enjoy this match.
That's like, I didn't see much hype. Like, I was off Twitter for most of Saturday anyway. The only time I was really on was for the UFC stuff. So.
Oh, we need to talk about that briefly.
Yeah, okay. Much rather talk about that.
Main event, almost there, pal. I've done this very well. I've done this quickly, swiftly. Main event with 6 guys. I checked my Impact Plus. It tells me there's like 12 minutes left. I said, thank goodness, that's 6 man. I want to just do 12 minutes. That's fine. Moose. It's who else is it, Jeremy?
It's Sammy Moose, Callahan. It's Cardona, Sammy Callahan, Trey, and Chris Bay. Am I missing anybody? Chris Sabin.
Yes.
So like half of them.
Who looks like he weighs? Sabin looks like he weighs approximately like 100 pounds at this point. Like he refuses to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna let myself go. No time for such a thing. But anyway, Moose beats everyone up. And then like Sabin and Bay come together to like knock him out of the ring, and this is obviously what this match is going to be. Everyone's going to roll out of the ring every time something happens, and they roll out, and then another person does a move, and then they roll out, and then more rolling, and then it's 12 minutes matches, moves, cool stuff. So that happens. Trey Miguel comes in, he runs wild. The Sammy Callahan cuts him off, and this is the match. It's just rotating pairs until we get to the finish. They did like a Tower of Doom deal because of course. Traded coast to coast. That's pretty neat. Moose did more cool moves. Sammy Callahan had a chair because, God forbid, he does not use a weapon in a match. Everyone is doing their moves. And then Gallows and Anderson come down, dressed as though they have not wrestled a match in weeks. Just legitimately like 10 minutes after losing to the 6-man and stumbling to the back. They are dressed completely differently to what we've seen tonight. And like they're fresh. And they take out known threat Sammy Callahan to remove him from this match. Look, I understand Sammy Callahan is like a tough guy and like a badass and all that stuff. Look at this match, okay? Moose is in the ring. We're supposed to believe they took out Sammy Callahan.
Sammy Callahan's a hacker. He can hack people.
He's too much, Jeremy. It's just too much. Anyway, they do that, and then like Moose goes for Sabin's knee.
No
and does,
tough
like, the
guy, Sammy
death.
Callahan, who couldn't get up a 10 count from a cutter through a table.
Exactly. That was the last match he did on pay-per-view. And then Moose goes for Sabin's knee. He does like the Dr. Death, like football tackle deal. What do they call it? You know when wrestlers do that deal when they used to play football and they like knock a guy's leg out? Ron Simmons used to do it, Jeremy. You know what I'm talking about here?
What?
No?
Say it again. Oh, the chop block?
Like the front chop.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's still like a chop block, but yeah.
Okay.
Dan has called you out in the chat.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. And he said it's
I don't think he's a threat to Kenneth. He annoyed Callis, therefore he must die. Okay.
Yes. Cut block,
Good.
says Taxel, is what it's actually called. There you go.
Moose won.
All right, cool. Moose
There
and
was no
Omega.
reason for the other guys not being there. They just wasn't there.
Moose and Omega at Against All Odds. Should be a good match, right?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Anything else from Under Siege? Would you recommend this pay-per-view? You don't sound very high on it.
No, I wasn't very happy with it. I actually really like the Impact specials usually. Jeremy can confirm I'm normally the only person that likes these shows and talks about them. This one really disappointed me. And I don't know, looking back, I don't know why I thought it would be good because, like, it just had tropes I was never going to like. Like a six-man main event. I was just never going to like this. It's no one's fault. Everyone worked hard and did their stuff. It's just not for me. The six-man didn't hit the way I wanted it to. I liked the Knockouts tag and the X Division match. Watch those. I think the rest is very, you know, it's not a very good show, frankly. I saw a lot of people liked it. Maybe my standards are too high after enjoying the last few. Not for me, though. Anyway, Jeremy Lambert tweeted in 2010 that Charles Oliveira was going to be the UFC champion. And that shit actually happened. I couldn't believe it, man. I was watching, you know, I knew he was in, I knew it was alive, like he could win that fight, but he just felt like a guy that was going to find a way to lose that fight to me. Like, I just never believed he was actually going to get the belt. He did it, man. It was tremendous.
I was so like, because my fandom of MMA has just like slipped over the past however many years, and I just don't care. I don't talk about like Oliveira and stuff, but as you see from my tweets in 2010, there's more of them because I went back because I knew I tweeted in 2010 that Oliveira was going to be champion, and I just praised this dude so much back then. And I've continued to follow his career, continue to watch his fights. He's one of the few guys I'll actually go out of my way. Like if I don't watch it live, which is often, I will go back and like actually rewatch his fights. So I was very excited for this fight on Saturday. And man, that first round, it was looking rough. Like Chandler just hit so damn hard. And when he had him in the turtle position and was going after him, I was like, oh, they're about to stop this. But credit to Oliveira, like he was still moving his head and got out of there and managed to pull guard and stay in the fight. And the second round just caught him with that left hook. And dude, he's come so far. 2010, like the dude's only what, like 32 now? So he's been in the UFC for a very long time. Like he's been in the UFC since he's like 21. And I think I tweeted my praise for him like after he beat Efrain Escudero. That's when I was like, oh, I'm all in on this dude. Like he's awesome, he's young, he's energetic. I think he's already very skilled for his age, and I think he's just gonna keep getting better. He had some very rough patches. The Jim Miller loss was tough. Then he lost a couple more after that. I think he went to like a no contest against Nick Lentz, but hit some rough patches and stuff. But he's on the run of his career right now, and like he's really put it all together. And dude, there's so many good fights for him at lightweight, right? Like he's probably gonna get the winner of Conor and Poirier. Like that's a great fight right there. He'll probably get Gaethje at some point. Like that's gonna be great. Like
Yeah, that's gonna be killer.
So I imagine Chandler will get back up and he'll string together a couple wins, and they might end up doing a rematch on that. But like lightweight is so stacked. Like just the winner of McGregor and Poirier is already a big fight.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I just looked up, Jeremy. Charles Oliveira, when he was like young prospect, Rogan would like put his name with like Stefan Struve and be like, when these guys get older, like bless Stefan Struve. We know how it turned out for Stefan Struve, bro. Like it doesn't happen. This shit just doesn't. You don't stay in the UFC as long as he didn't lose those fights, and then like eventually just actually clicks and you become elite to the level he's striking there is insane.
Yeah,
that left hook was one of the neatest like knockdown punches in UFC I've seen in some time. It was perfect. The timing was so crisp. It's wild, man. It's actually bad though, Jeremy, because like it's going to actively encourage so many guys that go on skids in the middle of their career to be like, well, Charles Oliveira. Because this dude turned it around out of nowhere. Like, that's wild to me. But yeah, it was cool. I'd say what else though, man. That opener, I don't know if you saw it, Edson Barboza.
Yeah.
Against what a fight that was.
Yeah.
My God. Holy shit. I don't watch the UFC, like I'm not hardcore anymore, but he's one of those guys for me, Barboza. Oh, he's on the card? Okay, I'll see.
Yeah.
I'll have a look at that. It was good. The crowds are wild since they got back too, right, in the UFC. It's crazy times.
I watched the entire event outside of main card I watched. I didn't watch actually the women's fight, and I caught the tail end of the Schnell fight, but I saw the Barboza fight. That was the delayed KO, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, because I did see some prelim stuff as well. I saw fucking Jacare get just, ooh,
Yeah, that was wild.
that was rough. And the Venata and Grundy fight was insane too. The scorecards were
I
shit.
did not see that.
Oh, that was really good. That was very entertaining. Dude, yeah, the delayed KO though, like he hit him and he's like fine, and then he just stumbled back and it was like,
It's like
what?
quicksand, bro. He just like sunk slowly, and next thing you knew, he was like near the floor, and then he went backwards. And when I say went backwards, he like collapsed backwards, right?
Yeah.
And he hit himself on the cage. He also looked like he was out cold when
He did.
like at some point in there, he was out cold.
Usually,
you know?
usually you see that delayed reactions with like body shots and stuff. Like we see it all the
Yes.
time. Like you get hit with a body shot, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna go. Oh wait, this kind of hurts. Like when it comes to like headshots like that, usually you either survive it or you just go out or you go down. Like that was so weird to see, but like it was great. Yeah, that was a hell of a fight. Barboza's one of those dudes as well that just like he started very young. He has a great highlight reel, and he just like has never been able to like break through. And maybe like he's 35, so he doesn't have quite as many years to do it as Charles Oliveira did. But he's just another guy that like just complete action fighter and just is always, he's always in these fights and always putting on entertainer fights. And it's just one of those guys that like if you put him up against anybody, I can see like you can make an argument. Oh yeah, Barboza can beat that guy. I'm not saying he will or anything, but like if you put him in there against Connor, I'd be like, dude, Barboza's gonna give him a fight, and like he can catch him, and he can do things that like Connor isn't ready for and stuff. So yeah, Barboza's just one of those guys you can just put in there, and he's just gonna bring it every time. One of those guys who used to be like that, and I think he's just done now, is Ferguson, right?
That was kind of brutal to watch, bro. Like he looked like a guy like trying to be Tony Ferguson,
Right.
You know. I saw some people online being like, at least he showed some head movement. Like, what are you guys like? This guy, he was all over the place. Is that just a case of his style aging badly, or is it like he's been exposed? Like, what do we think? It's the first one, right? He's just aged badly.
Yeah, I really think it's just age bad. Like he's 37 now too.
So
like,
for a light guy as well, that's super old, you know?
Like he's not only 37, but he's been in a lot of wars too. Like some of those fights during that long winning streak that he went on, like those were not easy fights. Like he had to really go through it in those. So yeah, it's tough, and clearly like really good wrestlers and grapplers can just get him down, and he just can't do anything against them. So yeah, it sucks for Tony Ferguson because he was there. He was supposed to fight Habib who knows how many times. I know people will look back and be like, oh, Habib would have murdered this man and stuff. Like, yeah, they'd murder this version of Tony Ferguson, but these fights are supposed to happen like 4 years ago when Tony Ferguson was like good and didn't tear his ACL and shit. Like, I think that plays a factor too. Like, there's just a lot of wear and tear on this guy. So it's tough.
My pal loves Tony Ferguson, okay? The Akash Sharma, who's appeared in many a chat on this show. He loves the Tony Ferguson, but he can't quite decide when prime was. Because every which way you go, there's like a roadblock, right? So like if I remember him really beating up Josh Thompson.
Yeah.
Which is like cool. Josh was kind of old, but still really impressive. And then he had that epic fight with Edson Barboza, who we were just talking about. Darce choke. And he's like, okay, maybe that's his prime. The next fight was that weird fight he had with Lando Veneta where he just like...
Yeah, he got like dropped and shit in that fight.
So he always says to me, the fight after that, where he beat Dos Anjos on points pretty like comprehensively, he says that's his peak. Because then he gets inactive, right? Like, a year off, fights Kevin Lee, struggles a lot with Kevin Lee.
Yeah.
But wins. Year off again, struggles a lot with Anthony Pettis, but wins. Like, it's... And then Donald Cerrone, like, he didn't beat Donald Cerrone in the fashion that a lot of his peers have since, you know? He's a weird fighter. I think he was always probably going to age badly, but I do think he could be one of those guys, Jeremy, that, like, people look back on the resume and they pick a lot of holes in it. But for those of us that actually watched him at the time, he was pretty damn epic, man, when he was, like, on that rise, you know? Like, he was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Not just to watch, but he was pretty formidable, too. I don't know, it'd be interesting to see how he sort of ages legacy-wise.
I mean, people are always he's gonna get the knock that he's never won a title, but I think he'll be remembered fairly favorably. I think he'll be a big what if because
Yeah.
it is unfair to Ferguson because, like I just said, people are gonna look back and be like, oh, Habib would have murdered this guy. And look, I don't think, I definitely don't think that Ferguson was a great matchup for Habib, even in whatever his prime would have been. I don't think anybody's a great matchup for Habib, honestly. That dude is just different. But people are going to look back and just be like, hey, I would have gotten killed. But like, man, Tony Ferguson during that run, I think it's after the Dos Anjos fight. Because that was when, what was the layoff after the Dos Anjos fight? Was that an injury?
I think so, yeah. I think that was one of the Khabib fallouts, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I think before. Okay, so that was. I don't know if that was an injury because it says here on Wikipedia, which is obviously very accurate. It says they were scheduled to fight at 209, but Habib was hospitalized due to the ill effects of the weight cut. I think that was it, and then the Kevin Lee fight. Because after the Kevin Lee fight, when they were scheduled to fight in 2018, that's when he tore his leg. And I think like after that, he's just become a different fighter. And I mean, I know he beat Pettis, and I know he beat Cerrone, but then after that, like he's just kind of fallen off after those two wins. So I'd probably say like 2017-ish is his prime.
It's interesting. It's hard to gauge. Before we conclude things here, folks, while we're talking about things that Jeremy and I only care about and no one in the chat, did you listen to the new J. Cole album, Jeremy?
No,
and if so, do you have hot takes?
I haven't listened to it. Have
do you want to pretend you have a hot take? I have.
Okay.
Do you want to have a roll of the dice on having a hot take? You could say like it sucks or something. We could really go back and forth.
I think it was great. I can't believe he did it again with no features.
There are features.
Oh, are there? Okay. I didn't even know the track list. I saw he played. I saw he was hooping in the NC little game.
Hooping, yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah.
I love. Did you see Kendrick Perkins' tweet? Like he put up a perk stat line.
He did too. That's no joke. I don't know. It was one of those deals though with the features. I think he had like Lil Baby on it or some shit, but like 21 Savage was on it. But like they wasn't listed on the track listings, you know.
Oh, so that's why I probably thought that there was no features because
So when you're an old man like me and it's like. Dude comes on, you're like, I'm not gonna spot these dudes like immediately, you know. So I'm sitting there like, I'm googling, ruins it. This is for people that know these guys. I don't know. It's fine, dude. It's good. Like, if you do listen to it through the lens that like it's just Cole rapping. There's no like concept. It's just like he's gonna rap for like 40 minutes,
right?
And through that lens, good album. If you go in expecting like some sort of profound, kind of goofy J. Cole-isms, it's not there.
See,
I
just kind of expected to him just rapping. I wasn't really expecting like any type of because I almost feel like this was just like a mixtape album for him, and that's sort of what I was expecting. So I think my expectations seem to be in line with
definitely
with everything. It should be. I mean, I'll listen to it at some point. When? I have no idea, but
it's cool. It's a good album. It's not like mixtape. That's the attitude to have.
Yeah.
You'll like it more if you go that way.
Rob Wilkins said he enjoyed it, so I don't know what that means.
Good.
But
hip hop aficionado Rob Wilkins says he enjoyed it.
It did surprise me when he was like, "Oh yeah, let's listen to the J. Cole album." I was like, "Wait, you like the rap music? Weird."
I mean, he probably thinks the exact same thing about us, though. So
yeah, true, very true.
Bearded white guys and their rap music. Yeah. Okay, man. All right, folks. What are we doing tomorrow, Jeremy?
Bad matches again?
We can do that. Yeah, we can do that. People seem to enjoy that. Okay.
What are we watching? Do we have matches to pick from? Maybe we can just make it up on the fly.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I have one thing to say. We only have like 20. Yeah, that's not bad. The Patreon.
Yes.
I have put a poll up. So this is only for people that are actually already on Patreon. I'm not trying to plug anything here that I don't need to, but it's currently very close, folks. Do people want Bob O'Neill and I to do a watch-along of Sacrifice 08, or do they want us to like review it and watch it beforehand? Because I was just going to review it. Bob was like, ask, like, what do you think they want to do? And I just put a poll up. It's like 8-9 right now. Could someone... if you somehow a patron have missed this poll, please do please go and vote. I would like to know before the end of the night because Bob has to prepare. He's a professional.
Joseph, speaking of watch-alongs, don't we have to do one this weekend?
What do we do with that now? Because we can't do the Peacock.
I'm just using your network.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Do a poll. Make it short.
What do you mean do a poll? I haven't got one option, let alone 4. What do you want?
What is
Slamboree?
What is May? Slamboree? Was there any clashes in May? I don't think so.
No. Want that 2-hour time slot, yeah?
Yeah. Do we have like an ECW May pay-per-view we can watch?
I don't know, man. You tell me.
ECW is, right up our alley, right?
I watched Beware of Dog the other day, which is like an hour and 45. If you would like to do that, I'll rewatch it.
What is there another May in your house?
Probably, yeah. I don't know if there'll be any good, but that doesn't really matter.
Let's see. Let's see what in your houses they have in May. In Your House 1, do you just want to watch the first ever one? That was May 14th.
Yeah, let's do that.
Beware of Dog and A Cold Day in Hell and Over the Edge. Definitely don't want to watch that one.
No. I think we should just do the first one, because then we can pretend it's like because NXT's doing In Your House soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we're doing, NXT In Your House, that whole deal.
Yeah.
Sid and Diesel, okay, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's a short show, right? Dude, I'm looking at this card. Oh, Brett's got, that Brett Hakushi match is, like, good, from what I recall.
Yes.
Yeah. The rest of this card.
Exactly.
But, like, it's like 2 hours long, though, Joseph.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, bad match watch along tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow at 3
p.m.
Yeah, bad match watch along. We don't know what we're watching yet. Maybe we'll just watch this in your house card.
Maybe. Probably have enough bad matches.
Yeah. And then Sunday, we're going to do Sunday or Saturday? Which one? Sunday?
I don't know.
Okay. One of the days.
Is there any fights on? Is there any good fights on that we need to
I'm sure there's fights. There's fights every fucking week. Let's see. MMA events. We have, what is it, May 23rd is Saturday? It's it's Rob Font against Cody Garbrandt. Who could possibly care?
Should we just do Saturday?
Yeah, we can do Saturday. That's fine. Oh, wait.
Oh.
Wait.
We could be doing Sunday, folks.
It honestly, what's the, is the 23rd is Saturday? Is that what I said? No, the 22nd is Saturday.
Okay.
Okay, so hold on. Yes, let's actually do Saturday because the Avs would play on Sunday, and I'm not watching in your house.
Point, actually. Guys, we need to schedule this thing when the playoff schedule's out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it'll be to be determined on this stuff because we got to work around Sixers games and Avs games. Look, we love the Twitch content and stuff.
Forget it. It's playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a different thing, guys.
Yeah.
This playing game, Warriors, Lakers, tremendous television.
Oh, we're going to talk about this
tremendous.
tomorrow. We'll talk some basketball tomorrow during the Bad Match stream.
Okay. Good.
All right, everybody.
Folks, thanks for joining us. This has been very fun.
Let's see who we can raid. Alex is on. Everyone say hi to Alex. Or it's starting soon. So go over there and wait for it to start. Tell her I said hi. Hope she enjoys Raw. I assume she's doing something like a Raw preview gimmick or something. We'll be back tomorrow at 3, watching bad matches, talking some basketball. Doing shit that we always do. Y'all enjoy your night.